Oh my goodness, just look at this gorgeous thing back from the Car Wizards after a lot of work, And, yeah. It needs more. Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, and I'm so excited because today I'm going to be driving home my 1966 Jaguar E-Type 4.2 that is finally finished at the Car Wizards. It's no longer hemorrhaging oil, and supposedly all the Lucas Prince of Darkness electronics are working in this car again, including heat, so I can actually drive this thing during the winter if I want to. But it's been quite a process, and the biggest part has been waiting for parts from overseas, from Britain, from customs. But let's get the Car Wizard here to talk about the process of fixing up this Jaguar and then going through all the other projects here at the Wizard shop. And there's other Jags here. But before we tour the projects and drive home the Jag, which this is future Hoovie, so I know from the benefit of the future that things don't go very well, I'd like to thank ShipStation for sponsoring today's video. A new year is full of possibilities, but when your e-commerce business is dealing with gift returns, late deliveries, and a mountain of busy work, you can feel overwhelmed. Now ShipStation exists to help you get through all of this faster, whether you run a side hustle or a giant warehouse. And I know this personally because I use ShipStation to sell my merch, which I'm stupidly not wearing right now. Actually, I am. It's an undershirt. It's kind of cold outside. They were flawless for me through the holiday season, and now since we're offering deep discounts on last year's merch before the new styles come out, it's pretty busy as well, so very thankful for ShipStation. So what makes ShipStation so great? Well, first, they make it so easy to grow your business by handling your orders from every platform in one place. This includes Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and Shopify in my case, but that's just scratching the surface. You can manage every order from one simple dashboard, automate routine shipping tasks, print shipping labels, and easily compare rates and delivery times to optimize any shipment. And when you grow your business with ShipStation, they scale up when you do. With the best discounts in the industry, you'll never wonder if your business is getting the best rates. You can get up to 86% off USPS and UPS's rates, and if that's not enough, you can use my promo code to try ShipStation for free for 2 months. So join me and over 130,000 companies that have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation, and 90% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year are customers for life, just like me. So make the new year your best year and grow your business with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com/Hoovies today and sign up for a free trial. That's shipstation.com/Hoovies. Now let's go back up to the Car Wizards and, well, the failing Jaguar. Darn it. Oh, Wizard, happy day.
It's a beautiful, beautiful car.
I am so happy to have this thing back, and it came from a viewer that emailed me that had owned this car for a long time. He bought it from the 50-year owner. It showed up, drove wonderfully, but it leaked about as much oil as it drank in gas, which is quite scary. Now, we did do some updates here and there in videos throughout the months while this car was being fixed, but nothing obviously dedicated to the Jag, so let's go through it. The engine did have to come out and get torn apart, right?
Yeah, we tried to see if we could just remove the transmission and do a sneaky Pete tool and work with that, but there's no room just to get the transmission out. Actually, Magic Mike had all this all apart, and it ended up being we had to pull the whole engine and powertrain package out the bottom.
Yes, it was quite a thing, but the results here, let's take a look, is quite tidy now. Ow! Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Now, I didn't want anything repainted or refinished because it matches the patina of the car. Mm-hmm. But I know the intakes were resealed, right?
Yep, new gaskets, exhaust gaskets, everything. Also an oil filter adapter that was leaking oil. And right there next to you, we took that all apart, got your blower motor working.
Well, that's my blower motor right there, and it looks nice and shiny in there.
Those parts are held up at customs for a long time. It took a while to get those.
So now I have heat, I have a non-leaky car, but it's still kind of a hoopty. We have the old Royal Naugahyde seats, we have the worn out top, but should be driving very, very well. It actually drove right before, it was just leaking and then none of the electronics worked. So, all right, I'm sure you have a bill for me on this one.
Yes.
But let's procrastinate a little bit before I pay, which I imagine it's very hefty, and go around on the other projects here.
All right.
Kind of some sad news on 66, the 66 Mustang, which I wanted to make this a little bit more streetable. This is a full-blown race car. It's a real Shelby Hertzman racer that became a race car, a Group B racer, and I wanted to switch the clutch, and that proved to be a little difficult, huh?
Yeah, we changed out the flywheel and a few other things to make a more easy to use clutch, but the engine and everything on this car is specifically geared towards racing, and it just didn't match up. I think you drove it once and it was shaking.
Yeah.
When we had, because the engine's internally balanced, so even if we got the flywheel balanced with a big heavy flywheel, you know, this thing revs really fast right now.
Yeah.
With a heavy flywheel, it will slow that down. It'll feel like an old 60s car. And it just wouldn't be the race car anymore.
Yes, I feel like I just need to embrace the fact that it's a race car. I have a very fun, crazy race car that's a little hard to street, obviously. I have my 66 Corvette, which is a wonderful sports car from the period, if I want to drive that. And now I have the 68 Charger, which is much more of a cruiser than the old Jag.
Yeah.
So I have plenty of nice vintage cars to drive. I bought this thing to be a vintage race car so I could go racing at Laguna Seca, all these historic races. I haven't done it yet, but I just need to leave it alone, obviously.
Yeah, I would leave it alone. I mean, the heritage of this car and what it's meant to do, it should be kept that way, I think.
Well, and it didn't give us much of a choice, so
It didn't.
there you go. Next to it, the CTS-V has the noisy rear diff and some other issues, but I've sold it to somebody who's going to be visiting soon.
Oh, really?
Another YouTuber.
Another YouTuber.
So I'm not going to spend any more money on this car.
So it just sits,
Yeah.
waiting on this mysterious YouTuber.
Yes. And I know the Bronco's done from the previous video,
Yep.
and the 49 Cadillac is done from a previous video. I need to bring up more hoopties to fix, but it's a little bit of Jaguarville going on here, which this isn't mine, but it is very, very cool. With the hood louvers, I know it's an XKR, huh?
Yes, this is an XKR.
What year?
This is a 2000.
Really? Okay. Yeah, the supercharged V8. These are known for their timing chain guide failures, which, is that what that's in for?
No, it's not in for that. It wouldn't start. It would crank all day, and we found the fuel pumps were bad. And another complaint, there's something wrong with the CAN bus and also the cluster on this car. It only has 40,000 miles on it, but the cluster is approaching 500,000 miles.
So, why is it just counting
It's just
miles?
counting. Even it's just sitting there. It's just counting.
Like it's just a timer going? That's a
Yeah.
very British problem.
It definitely is.
A 40,000 mile car showing 500,000 miles. So, you're in the middle of diagnosing that?
Yes.
Sounds like fun.
It's going to be a lot of wiring, tracing, CAN bus tracing. It's going to be one of those pull your hair out type things.
Yeah, Ford and Jaguar years.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
Well, and I know you have a Jaguar from the era just before this, before Ford sort of put their own little spin on it. Your 95 XJ12.
Yes.
Now, I know you. This was a perfectly running and driving car, but you can't leave it alone. So what are you doing to it?
I'm making it even more perfect. I have the drive shaft out, actually a piece of it. The bearing on it makes a vibration when you're driving.
Oh.
It's this little bearing right here.
Well, it's not a very beefy drive shaft
No.
for a
pretty-
V12.
It's the standard drive shaft that's on it. These don't have loads of power. They have pretty good power though.
Right, just the smoothness of the V12. And the color's perfect. And it even has the rear trays.
Yep. It's the smoothest riding car I've ever been in.
So cool. All right, well, I've procrastinated enough. Let's go pay the bill.
Yes, let's go pay the bill.
This is it here?
That is the bill.
Okay, rear main seal up at the top. $1,900 in labor, huh?
A little over 20 hours, because not only did we pull the engine out the bottom, we had to pull stuff all apart, pull the oil pan off, take the flywheel off, get to the rear main seal.
That was probably a deal.
That was.
Yep. Easy fuse for the wipers to work again, huh?
Yep, made them work again.
But the blower motor was a bit more. Grand total, $3,131. $3,000
Yep,
to have a sorted E-Type.
it is. It's really kind of worth it. It's an awesome car.
That is. I mean, I could put some new seals in the top for sure to make it a little better. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna leave it alone. Just drive it and enjoy it how it is.
That's what I would do.
Well, driving it home and it's now warmed up, and the first thing is I have heat blowing. It is actually very comfortable in here with the heater. Actually a little too hot. I'm gonna turn it down. But there is a pretty big draft in here with the top up. The seal right here in the window, the windshield's doing nothing. And this one, I can't roll up all the way because the noise it makes, it's just horrendous, especially at speed. But listen to that. This thing is so fast too. It's ridiculous. I would go faster, but then all the wind noise from the top would mean you can't hear me at all. So I'm just gonna cruise here. It has been a few months since I've been behind the wheel of this car, but it hasn't lost its charm one bit. These are absolutely spectacular cars, an amazing driving experience, even if it was something ugly, but this is one of the most beautiful cars of all time, so just makes it that much better. I mean, looking out at that, oh, I'm so happy to be bringing this car home. Well, it's been a few days since the Jag came back from the car wizard, and the honeymoon was rather short, unfortunately, because, well, look under here. Yeah, that is a giant, massive puddle from the rear main seal again, which means, well, the repair didn't work all the way. That is better than what it was. It was a massive, basically, waterfall of oil before, and it's not doing that anymore. But, you know, it's not the car wizard's fault that it's like this. This is really Jaguar's fault in 1966 for using that rope seal and requiring you to completely tear down the engine to fix it. I didn't want to do that, and Wizard tried to save me as much money as possible, not taking the crankshaft out, all that kind of stuff. And, well, it did work kind of, but not all the way. With this car, really, it needed to be done right. There's one of two ways. You can do the rope seal again by tearing the motor apart, or you can tear the motor apart and do a retrofit with a modern rear main seal, which requires milling the crankshaft and modifying things a little bit. And when you're doing that, you might as well rebuild the engine, especially since this one, well, 40 years ago was the last rebuild on it. If you look at it, the carburetors, they're old and they work pretty well, but they could be rebuilt as well. So really, you're rebuilding the engine, you're rebuilding the carburetors. While you got that out, well, you might as well redo the paint because it's not original paint. This isn't a Survivor, and it does have some rust that's starting, so you definitely want to nip that in the bud before it gets too terrible. The interior, not original as well. It has Naga hide and aftermarket carpets from the 80s that could definitely stand to be redone. The top seals, as you saw in the video, basically they're doing little to nothing. So how far do I go? I mean, actually, I did buy the car really, really well. $69,000 is a great deal for this car that actually just got a pound of flesh out of me. I'm now bleeding somehow. But anyway, if I were to spend over $100,000 on a restoration, I would get that money back if I ever sold the car, but I probably wouldn't sell it. If I restored it like that, the car would last me a lifetime, just like the previous owner who had it for almost 50 years. So do I go completely off the deep end with this thing, or do I enjoy it as is, with it leaking and not running perfect and not looking, well, anywhere near as it should, considering how special of a car this is? And the answer is, well, I really don't know. For now, I'm just going to leave it alone, drive it, enjoy it, put a drip pan underneath it, and just enjoy my vintage Jaguar. Let me know what you all think, because doing a concours restoration on a car is something I've always wanted to do, but have never done. These E-Types are wonderful to do in that sense because of the part support. So I could have a shop do it here in town, check in every few months. It would take maybe a year or two, and then get back a car that I could take on the show circuit. Really have a lot of fun in that sense, but then it is a trailer show queen, and I'd probably be scared to drive it. So I don't know which way to go. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And while it wouldn't make sense for YouTube videos for me to spend that kind of money because I wouldn't get it back in the videos, I would get it back because the car is worth it from a value standpoint. Now, a car that wasn't worth it, but is certainly back, is the 79 911 SC. Since I bought it almost 2 years ago, a complete wreck, a complete basket case with the Targa bar chopped off of it, now it's back, and I got the final bill from Leonard, because from that drive there's some more things I wanted taken care of, a little bit more tuning, and the final bill on it was $18,000. But then I spent $8,000 rebuilding the engine before that, and another $7,000 or so in parts. So $32,000, $33,000 in addition to the $18,000 that I paid for this car. It's like $50,000 into a ratty, terrible paint, holes in the interior 911 SC, which the last air-cooled Porsche that I had, a coupe Carrera from '86, I sold for mid-30s. So this really is the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, for sure. But I'm not saying I got ripped off at all. This car literally needed everything, and now it looks terrible, but I love it in that sense. And it is so cool what Leonard has done to get everything working in this car driving, well, way better than it looks, way better than the 86 Carrera. And the main part is because of these individual PMO carburetors right here, which sound fantastic. Now that it's warm enough outside to have the top off to cruise around in January, I'm very lucky with this weather. I've been driving it a lot, and you have to hear this thing. So much better than a fuel-injected version of this. These PMOs, even though it takes a while to warm up and this car to come alive, so worth it. And then Leonard somehow got the brakes perfect, the suspension, everything dialed in so darn well that this car is an absolute blast to drive. And that's why when I drove it in Arkansas, even though it wasn't quite finished yet, I knew every time I would want to get in this car over the Beck Spider, Subaru swapped a Spider replica that the Wizard built, so I sold it, and I sold it for a pretty decent loss, but I knew I'd enjoy this much more, and I do. Plus it has a back seat for the kids, so I'm okay with it. And just listen to that. Obviously, I'll never get back the $53,000 that I spent on this car, ever, probably. But, you know, I'm happy. This is a car that, if it had gone to anybody else, it would be a completely dead parts car now. Or, at the very least, maybe a cabriolet still, and maybe an EV conversion. Whatever, I don't know. I brought this car back, and I am very proud to have been the dumb person to write that check. And it'll now, as long as I don't crash it, live on forever. First gear is a little crunchy, but I'm getting to know it a little better. We'll see what I end up doing with the Jag, but it'll probably be a bad decision. Thank you for watching.